Bharat has actually requested me to speak a little bit about selling skills. So what I'm going to do is going to quickly take you through some thoughts on what are the fundamentals of selling. One of the things I would request all of you is one, to listen to me. I'm a good speaker, and second is to note down whatever I'm saying. Okay, so that you are able to kind of retain some of the stuff. Now, a little background in terms of why I have been asked to speak on selling is because I have been a sales trainer for the last 15 years, and it's been one of the most fascinating journeys for me in my training profession. Though I do a lot of other programs like communication and behavioral stuff, I'm also certified for Ascentus Behavior Styles program. But one of the most important things that I actually do is sales training, because I realized in about 2004 when I joined Max New York Life Insurance, that's where I learned sales, and I learned sales training also. One of the things I realized was that this is one profession which does not require you to be extremely academically qualified, and yet you can be very successful in life. And you may not have a great degree, you may not have a great education, however, you can still be very successful in life if you know how to sell. And I have seen very highly educated people struggle to sell, and I have seen extremely not so educated people do brilliant selling. And I've seen a lot of those lives transform right in front of my eyes. So when I was a trainer for Max New York Life, and we used to train a lot of agents, I could see a non-graduate take her first flight ever in her life straight abroad to attend a company sponsored conference because she qualified for a contest because she was a great salesperson. I saw a housewife's life transform within 6 to 12 months. I saw a guy lost in business recover his money and his life by becoming a good salesperson. So I've seen the power, and currently I'm doing a sales training pan India for an IT distribution company. So I'm doing it in different cities in India, like Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Calcutta, and I'm extremely kind of proud. I don't want to use the word proud, but I'm very happy to say that I've been able to diversify myself after being an entrepreneur for the last 9 years into doing sales training for different industries. The reason I'm saying this, I'm sharing this with you. One is obviously to market to you that you need to invite me for a sales program.
We understand that.
Yeah, you got that, Sam. But not everyone is a promoter, so you didn't get it. So I made it very clear. Okay. Second, the better reason why I'm sharing this with you is it doesn't matter which industry you belong to, the sales fundamentals are all the same. Whether it's hotel, whether it's pharma sector, whether it's real estate, whether it is IT, whether it is insurance, it doesn't matter. Whether it's logistics, it does not matter. Now I hit the right target market. Okay, so it doesn't matter because the fundamentals are always the
Same.
always the same. Okay, it does not matter even if you're selling cars. Okay, my next target market. Okay, so so what is the fundamental of selling? Essentially, I think I take off from where Bharat left. Actually, there's nothing called sales process. There's nothing called selling. There's something called buying. If you don't buy, there's nobody to sell, right? Because there are buyers, there are sellers in the market. And one of the great challenges of selling in today's world is everybody is trying to show what a great sales guy is and how he's better than the other person. Just because he met his targets or just because he sold more than the other person doesn't make you a great salesperson at all. What makes you a great salesperson is the buyer experience. It is not what you wanted to sell, but rather what he or she wanted to buy, and were you able to provide that service or the product or not. If you were not able to do that and you did some nice chip cow selling, that does not make you a great salesman. It does not make you a good human being. What is the most essential thing in being a good salesperson is to be, first of all, a good human being. And because salespeople can actually impact people and actually spoil somebody's sleep by selling the wrong product or fleecing money. I've seen a lot of this happen in the financial services industry, and they're the most sensitive industry to sell. So let's say Janvi goes, she's also a salesperson in her own right. She goes and gives a wrong legal advice. What have you done to that person? you have actually messed up the morale of that person and broken the confidence of that person. So there are certain professions you can't make a mistake. For example, if you're a pilot, can you make a mistake? For example, if you are a doctor or you are a surgeon, can you make a mistake? No, you cannot make a mistake. And I think salespeople can make mistakes in terms of maybe information or lack of experience, but they can't make a mistake when it comes to giving the right advice, because you may end up breaking the self-confidence of a particular individual. So when I see a lot of companies or entrepreneurs drive people and say be an aggressive salesperson, we are actually causing a tremendous amount of damage to the consumer mindset. We don't need aggressive salespeople. What we need is sensitive salespeople. People who are, you can be passionate, but that does not mean you are aggressive. Aggression or passion are two different things. I'm a very passionate guy. I don't think I'm an aggressive guy, because I actually take a long time to close calls or close my deals, because I'm very passionate. I follow up, but it doesn't mean that I'm aggressive, because aggressive people are looking at what I want to sell rather than looking at what the customer really wants to buy. So what's the first lesson I realized in being a good salesperson is you got to be first of all a good human being. Secondly, it's all about habits. Sales is not a very easy profession. It's a pretty tough profession, simply because you have to face a lot of rejections. It's very easy in the sense that you don't have to do very creative things, but it's difficult in the sense that people say no to you, and people can take it very personally, and it is very natural. If somebody does not give me a training deal, it obviously hurts, but it's the way you respond to the hurt that is more important. So can you absorb that rejection? Can you absorb it by having the right temperament? So sales is all about developing the right habits. So there is a gentleman called Albert Ian Gray, and he makes an amazing statement. He says that successful people are those who do the things which failures do not like to do. And I want to repeat this because I think you can paste it on your wall and educate everybody on this. Successful people are those who do the things which failures do not like to do. For example, suppose I'm putting on a lot of weight and I'm supposed to cut down on certain fatty food. A successful person does not like to cut down on that fatty food and switch to a more appropriate diet, but he'll still do it, though he does not like it. But a failure will never do it because he does not like stop eating fatty food. And you will find in life that when you do the things that you don't like, you actually get the things you like. And when you do the things you only like, you will always get the things you do not like. And one of the habits about successful people is they have got this great ability to do the boring job with great love. It's like the mother who does the most boring job in the world. Cooking, cleaning, taking care of the house, taking care of characters like us. But she does the most boring job, but with the maximum love. And that's why she's such a winner in life. And she has no expectations. We don't give her a gift. We don't give her appreciation. We don't give her certificates. We don't give her salaries. We give her nothing. Yet she can do it day in and day out without getting bored because she has tremendous love for the family. And that's what a salesperson needs to do. Love the job, love the customer, love the company. And he needs to have 3 or 4 critical habits. First of all, it's prospecting habit. Do I prospect often? What do we mean by prospecting? Any ideas? What does prospecting mean?
Fishing, you put your fishing rod and keep the bait over there so people get prospect.
Okay. Okay. What else? That's a promoter definition. What's a textbook definition? Yeah. What is the meaning of prospecting?
Keep your ears and eyes open.
Okay. And?
Marketing for your business.
Huh?
Marketing for your business.
So, in a very simple technical language, prospecting simply means looking for relevant names to go and meet. As simple as that. Incentive calls it a target market. It's basically a lead generation process where you identify who are my qualified prospects, who are my relevant prospects. So there are certain people who are suspects, but you need to figure out whether they are prospects for you. When you qualify the suspect, he becomes a prospect. Otherwise, you discard the suspect and you look for your qualified prospects. So prospecting habit, that's one of the reasons why people join networking organizations, is because they get an opportunity to prospect. It's far cheaper, it's far easier to prospect than spend money on marketing collaterals, right? So that's one of the reasons why people join networking organizations. Second is the calling habit. Do I have the habit of calling people every day and booking appointments? So am I following a particular script when I call people? So when we do sales training, we actually take them through calling scripts. We teach them objection handling. So people might say, I can't meet you because I don't have need, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have trust, or I am not in a hurry. So there are only 5 objections in the world which you get on the phone. But you should know how to handle them by using the right scripts. People mess it up because they use the wrong conversations or the wrong dialogues on phone, and that puts us off. Third is meeting. It's all about meeting people. So you may not be the most skilled guy in this world as a salesperson. You may not be the best guy to know the product, but you are meeting people every day. Can we do 2 appointments a day? It's as simple as that. Miloge to milega is what I say in Hindi. If you meet people, you will get closures. The challenge with salespeople is, a lot of salespeople is, they are very talented, but they're not prepared to work hard. They're not prepared to go and meet people. They are not ready to go and do those 2 or 3 important appointments in life. And the last habit is the referral habit. Do I ask for references? Or I just go tell my story, listen to the story and come out? Because there are a lot of people I know who are excellent at cold calling, but that comprises 2% of the sales population who are competent in cold calling. But the best way to sell is through references, because 60% of your deal is already closed when you go for a referral call. The remaining 40% you need to show your competence, right? So the most important thing is, doing business through reference and not through just cold calling. It may be a strategy, it may work for some people, but it generally doesn't work for most. Sales process. I know a lot of organizations that recruit salespeople and just put them on the job and push them into selling without teaching them the sales process, the cycle. How do you go from prospecting to meeting to need identification to closure to referrals and come back to prospecting? Now, making a prospect list and continuously updating. The best way, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to check on your salespeople, just check the number of names that they have got to call this week. From that, you will know whether they are on a failure course or they are on a success course. So, for example, I recently launched a psychometric survey product and I made a prospect list. One of the things I consciously try and do is I update the prospect list. So right now in my list there are more than 100 people, and I may have probably called maybe 50 or 60 of them and gone and met maybe 25, 30. So there is a huge bucket which is still available with me, and I constantly update my prospect list based on the referrals that I get either from my clients or from people like you who help me connect with people. So it's all about, the most important thing is to follow the sales process. One of the great challenges with sales is they are not trained, because we are not being taught sales in school, not in college, not in university. There is no MBA course which offers selling. Though I am told there is one university called Chitkara University in Punjab, in Chandigarh, which is actually offering a sales MBA, which is also my dream to launch something like a sales academy. It is probably one of its kind university which is doing that. And it's extremely important to give structured sales training to people. And we think the smart guys are the better salespeople, but most people fail in sales because we never bother to nurture them. We just told them, gave them a target, and if they were smart enough, they're the go-getter type of guys, they went and sold, and the others fell aside, and then they lost their self-confidence and their self-esteem. But the fault lies with the business person, with the entrepreneur, who refuse to train them, because people think training is a cost. But my request is, just check what is the cost of not training, and you will come to realize how important it is to invest in people, right? So there are a lot of things I can go on with, but Bharat is looking at his watch, so I got the clue. The last thing I want to talk about, guys, is very simple. There is nothing called sales, it's all about relationships. If you learn to build relationships, you will be able to sell in the longer term. But if you just try to sell in the short term, you will lose relationships in the long term. But you may not get a lot of sale in the short term. But if you build relationships, you'll be a rock star salesperson in the long term. So one of the things I request corporate managers, entrepreneurs is to be patient with salespeople. And if you are not patient with salespeople, you don't give them the long rope. You don't give them the time to develop themselves. You don't give them the right kind of training and orientation. You're not really going to do justice to your own business and to your own self, right? So I hope I could kind of give you some value in this short session, and I'll be delighted to come and do a little